Do you want to learn how to steal customer credit card information from major retailers so you can buy anything you want?
Well, we can't help you with that. But among the many IT problems we solve, Barracuda's award-winning firewalls prevent hackers from taking your valuable data to the bank. Reclaim your network like 150,000 other businesses have. To learn more about protecting customer data and your reputation, visit barracuda.com/firewalls.
Get ready to embrace debate. First Take starts now.
Hey, welcome into First Take from Los Angeles. The ESPYs are today. We are fired up. Skip Bayless, Stephen A. Smith. I'm Molly Karam. I'm already seeing the stares happening.
Did you get any sleep last night?
I got a lot of sleep last night. I was hanging out in Beverly Hills for dinner with my man Eric Braden.
Of course you were, BA.
Star, Young and the Restless. He treated me to dinner last night. Appreciate it, big boy. So I had a nice time with him. But after that, I came back and went to bed.
I actually watched the baseball game.
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, guys.
Good for you. Good for you.
We've got a busy show today, so let's get right into it. Coming up, we also have some stars, of course, ESPY's week. Jimmy Buckets is in the house, and Big Sean, Grammy-nominated rapper. We'll talk to them in just a few. But first, some NFL news to get to right out of the gate. Today at 4 p.m. Eastern marks the deadline for franchise tag players to sign a long-term deal. Dez Bryant and Demaryius Thomas are two of those tag players whose contract status is still in question. Both wideouts are willing to hold out of regular season games if a long-term deal is not reached. So if both players decide to sit out of regular season games, which player would be a bigger loss, Stephen A.?
As shocking as this may be for people to hear from me, I'm going to say the loss of Demaryius Thomas would be a bigger loss than Dez Bryant.
I am shocked by that.
But let me explain myself. Dez Bryant is a big-time talent. You know that I know that. You know that I know how much he saves the day for Tony Romo, at least when DeMarco Murray wasn't being ran into the ground with 392 carries, and then an additional 57 receptions, for about 450 touches last season. Okay, but we understand that. But here's where things get very, very interesting, and this is why I say Demaryius Thomas is a tremendous loss and would be a bigger loss than Dez Bryant. When you look at Demaryius Thomas and what he brings to the table, the 111 receptions, the 1,600-plus yards, the last 3 seasons being 1,400-plus yards, the multitude of receptions that he had, the fact that he was targeted 184 times last year, even though the Emmanuel Sanders, the Wes Welkers of the world get targeted as well, the reason why Demaryius Thomas is such a huge loss is because of the health of Peyton Manning. It's questionable right now. The fact that Peyton Manning, with his arm strength, his health, attrition, age, and all of those things coming into the equation, believe it or not, Skip, what I'm saying to you, even though the same could be said to a degree with Tony Romo, I think Tony Romo being a bit younger, having a stronger arm, I think that he's capable of doing more if asked to do so without the services of Dez Bryant. Although I don't think it would help, it would hurt, he still is capable of doing more. We ended the season last year with questions as to whether or not Peyton Manning was going to retire. We wondered how much he had left strictly due to health reasons. We know what his abilities are, and nobody's questioning that. But we question those things. We question the velocity on his throws, his arm strength, etc., etc. I think losing Demaryius Thomas exposes Wes Welker even more, okay? Guys like him and Emmanuel Sanders to a lesser degree. I believe in Emmanuel Sanders, but I still believe having Demaryius Thomas on the other side helps him tremendously. Without Demaryius Thomas, I think the Denver Broncos are hurt across the board because you're forced to rely more on Peyton Manning, and health-wise because of age and attrition. I don't know if we could do that.
Okay, now you have slipped out the back door of our original argument by turning it into a Peyton versus Romo argument on the health score, right?
To some degree, the fact is that no matter how great a receiver is, if you don't have a quarterback that can get you the football, what does it matter? So I think, to me, it's part and parcel. It comes together. But
I have to deal with this question as if Peyton, even at age 39, will be healthy and that Tony Romo will be healthy.
Well, go ahead and do that. You have the freedom to do that.
Okay, I'm going to take the freedom to do that because, to me, this isn't even close. To me, Dez Bryant would be a far bigger loss to the Cowboys going into this year. And again, I think they should have Super Bowl aspirations. You don't. But I do. I'm being realistic about that. a much bigger loss than Demaryius would be to the Broncos here right now going into the start of this regular season, because it's very simple to me. Dez is better than Demaryius. He's a more explosive game changer than Demaryius is, and I think you would agree with that part,
I do think
right?
he's slightly better. Okay. I don't think it's by a landslide the way you sound.
And if Peyton is healthy, as much as I love my boy Romo, I'm going here, man. Peyton is a better all-around thrower of the football than Tony Romo is. He's a better passer. He's a better general. He's a better field master than Tony Romo is. So I'm going to trust a Peyton who, by the way, has a number 2 receiver, guy we've had on the show a number of times, Emmanuel Sanders, who made the Pro Bowl last year.
1,400 yards.
Yeah. His numbers are beyond Dez, even though Dez is obviously better than Emmanuel is. But when you catch 101 for 1,404 and you make the Pro Bowl, and that's your number 2 option, I'm going on Peyton's side on this one, because my number 2 wide receiver, I know there's a Jason Witten and I know there's a Cole Beasley, and I love them both. But if we're talking wide receiver options, Terrence Williams is not Emmanuel Sanders. Would you agree with that?
I agree with that.
Terrence Williams had about a third of what Emmanuel did in yards, I mean in overall catches, and about half the yards. Well, so wouldn't you think that's big advantage to Peyton Manning to be able to throw to Emmanuel Sanders versus Terrence Williams, right?
Yes, but what I'm saying to you, Skip, is that, see, you want me to ignore the health of Peyton Manning. I can't do that based on how last season ended. And so when we're talking about Demaryius Thomas and we're talking about Dez Bryant, why are we talking about them? Because both of them are looking for future long-term deals, okay, with their respective teams. They don't aspire to be franchised, all right, franchise tag. So as a result, I'm looking at them right now and I'm saying there's a possibility that if they hold out, if they elect to hold out, okay, who would be the bigger loss? And I'm saying to you, when I look at the Denver Broncos, everything rides, shines and sets, with Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning threw the ball almost 600 times last year. Tony Romo didn't even throw it 450 times last year. So when you give me those numbers, I'm saying to you, in terms of volume, of course Emmanuel Sanders may have better numbers than others. Of course Demaryius Thomas may have better numbers because Peyton Manning is throwing the football significantly more than Tony Romo had to because of DeMarco Murray's presence. But in the end, I'm looking at a guy like Demaryius Thomas, and I'm telling you, he has the abilities that he has. But more importantly, without him, you're asking Peyton Manning to potentially do more, because we've seen Wes Welker's game. We've seen Julius Thomas and how sporadic he can get. We like Emmanuel Sanders, but Pittsburgh didn't really mind letting him go because they had Antonio Brown. So in other words, even though he's gifted, there may be perceived limitations to his game. We know there's limitations to Wes Welker's game. Julius Thomas needs to step up and be more consistent. Without Demaryius,
he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. I'm sorry, I forgot about that. You're right. But what I'm saying to you is that considering all of that, I'm looking at Peyton Manning and what you're asking of him. And I'm saying, look, I don't know how much you can pull that off without Demaryius Thomas. As great as Peyton Manning is, there were questions as to whether or not this brother would consider retiring.
Okay. I don't have any questions. I still think he will have a great year this coming year if he doesn't get hurt. But my boy Romo is one hit away from a third back surgery that could end his career.
And what about Peyton Manning?
Well, I'm just saying, but I'm having to go with both of them being healthy to do this argument.
Okay.
Because Peyton Manning, watch what he'll do with Virgil Green, now the replacement for Julius Thomas. Watch him turn him into a star. Watch him turn into some no-name guys into stars down that roster. Some Jacob Tammey, he's not there anymore, but Blair White back in the Indy days.
Right.
He always finds some guy that we've never heard of and turns him into a shockingly effective NFL receiver.
Let's also not forget to mention Gary Kubiak's there, so it's a new system, so they might be running the ball more.
They may be running
the ball. And DeMarco is not there, so they might be throwing a little less there as well.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. DeMarco's not there, so Dallas, I assume, will be running the ball more. Throwing the ball more. You've got a situation where Gary Kubiak's there. He's going to be running the ball more. I think the Dallas Cowboys will be throwing the football more. Okay. And I'm thinking about it. Listen, you talk about Terrence Williams, you talk about Cole Beasley, you talk about cats like this. Clearly, Dez Bryant seems to be more important to the Dallas Cowboys. But I think you're going to see Denver in a mode where they possibly are trying to protect Peyton Manning, which brings questions in my mind about Peyton Manning, which affects, to me, questions you wouldn't have as much if Demaryius Thomas is there.
2 more points. You mentioned this in your earlier argument, but when Tony Romo gets in trouble, as he did against the Houston Texans, remember that game at Jerry World last year? He just throws jump ball bombs up for Des Bryant. Demarius can't do that. And no disrespect to Demarius, but he can't do that. When Tony Romo has any doubt in the red zone, what does he do? He throws a fade to Des, because Des is so much more physical than even Demarius is. He can shield off the defender and make it look like child's play, like candy from
There's
babies.
no debate in our minds. I totally agree that Des Bryant, I believe, is better than Demarius Thomas. But you do have Jason Witten, who's been a reliable target for Tony Romo for years.
But do you realize what a lightning rod leader that Des Bryant has matured into for the Dallas Cowboys? He's become the driving force of this football team.
That's fair.
This is why Michael Irvin said yesterday, this is an 8-8 football team without Des Bryant. And he's talking on the field, in the locker room, in the huddle. This team has come to feed off Dez's rage to win, off his passion, his emotion for just playing the game of football that he loves so much.
In fairness to you, I wasn't thinking about that at all, because you're 1,000% right on that point. I totally agree with that. But I'm thinking along the lines of what Demarius Thomas's absence would expose about the Denver Broncos without him. And that's what I'm thinking about. When you talk about Des Bryant and the leadership, that's a valid point. But when you talk about their play on the field, whether it's the potpourri of running backs that they have at the disposal, the guys that they rely on, and Williams of Beasley now, a Jason Witten now, of course Des Bryant would be a loss to some degree, but I'm just of the mindset that when I think about Demarius Thomas, combined with Peyton Manning's limitations, combined with everything that's been in flux in Denver, I think it would be a devastating loss for them.
Now back to Molly's point. Do you realize over the second half of last year, as Peyton did get beat up, that turned into a running football team, and a really good running team that had a running game that I thought was equal to the Dallas Cowboys offensive line running game, with DeMarco leading the league, because they found a C.J. Anderson, thank you God, who turned into a near star for them.
He can ball.
And speaking of ball, Monte Ball was hurt, and it will be healthy and wants to win his job back. And there's a Juwan Thompson, and there's a Ronnie Hillman. They are loaded at the running back position, and I still like what I got left at running back for my Dallas Cowboys, but I don't have DeMarco Murray.
I don't believe that the Denver Broncos will consistently go about the business of running the football. Molly, you're right. I know that's Gary Kubiak's intent. And listen, and Gary Kubiak has something to prove to me, because quite frankly, I didn't think he did that great of a job in Houston. Let's just call it what it is. Even though he did do a good job as a coordinator in Baltimore. He did a good job in Baltimore. He deserves a lot of credit, but he's a head coach again. So he has something to prove to me, because in Houston, I mean, my Lord, he relied on Matt Schaub for years. Okay? So I just look at it from that perspective, and I say, okay, yeah, you're going to have all of these running backs, but everybody can't be on that field. You know, whether it's going to be Monty Ball, whether it's going to be C.J. Anderson, whomever. In the end, what it comes down to is you're going to have somebody behind Peyton Manning, and I'm not sure how much Peyton Manning is going to be looking to run the football. Now, he got hurt. You know, that game against St. Louis, you know, he got popped silly pretty good, and he was never the same after that. Hopefully he'll recover. If that happens, I can't see them just handing the ball off to brothers and not letting Peyton Manning fling it, especially with Wes Welker and those boys back there and Emmanuel Sanders. I'm just of the mindset, you don't have Demarius Thomas. It's going to expose the rest of those brothers. That's my thing. But you have a point about Des Bryant that I didn't realize, I didn't think about, rather.
Okay, what's your bottom line on this? By 4 o'clock today, either or both get done?
One of them is going to get done. I don't think both of them are going to get franchise tagged. If that happens, if I'm the Players Association, I completely agree with their position. I'm investigating collusion, because there's no way on earth that talent like this, 2 of the top 5 receivers in football, both get franchise. You got to remember, you can not only franchise tag them this summer. If you want to, you can franchise tag them next summer. Now, the 3rd year you could franchise tag them, but obviously that's inconceivable, because you get like a 120% bump in salary. That's not going to happen. But when you consider the fact that teams have that level of control, that's going to be a bad sign. And if I'm the Players Association, I'm ready to rumble. If both of these brothers get franchised, something's wrong with that picture. Definitely collusion needs to be investigated.
Okay, this is just a gut feeling guess on my part. I think Des gets done today, and I think Demarius does not get done.
An all-star most improved player, Jimmy Butler, is in the house from the Bulls. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank y'all for having me.
Hold on.
What?
I know good and damn well you didn't come onto this show on national television with practically the same suit on as Skip Bayless.
I
mean, what is up with that?
He don't have one, Jordan.
Who's cleaner?
I think I got him a little bit.
I'm not sure about that. The sneakers, the Jordans with that
Jays
shirt.
get me. I will give you that. And he asked me how many pairs of Jordans I have. I actually have 4. I just counted in my head. He's got like 400, but he works for the brand. He endorses the brand.
Well, he should endorse the brand. MJ.
We need to get Skip some sky blue Jays.
I've got sky blue. I've got that exact pair.
These.
I do maybe not your pair, but you know.
Photo op. Let's put it on Instagram.
Jimmy Butler and Skip Bayless with the same wardrobe. Y'all need to change this subject.
Wow.
You change this subject.
Great minds think alike. All right, we have to put you on the hook here. Let's get right into it. What led to you re-signing with the Bulls?
I started in Chicago. I think the fans have embraced the way that I play. They've loved me whenever I wasn't too good of a player. And now I guess I'm okay. I'm pretty decent. So I think it was a place for me.
Well, you're better than decent. I'm proud of you, bro. Because first of all, let's make sure we understand this. The 20-point average, you know, the 35% shooting from three-point range, the 46% shooting from the field, being an all-star, the most improved player, defending better than most in this league. But more importantly than that, you're somebody who bet on yourself. You and I were together like the first game of the season in Chicago, and this guy couldn't reach an agreement with the Chicago Bulls, so he bet on himself, and this is what happened for you. I want to know how tough this season was for you. Were you worried at all, knowing that a contract year was coming, you bet on yourself, and obviously any kind of injury or anything like that could have cost you millions of dollars?
It crossed my mind, but I was so confident in the work that I put in last summer that I knew what I was capable of. I knew what I was going to do this year. My trainer, Chris Johnson, who I call Dodo because he's not the smartest individual.
Wait, he's sitting across the floor, right?
Yeah, he's definitely over there.
Way to go, Dodo.
Dodo.
He prepared me extremely well, and he's doing the same thing this summer, and I'm still working to get better.
Go ahead, Skip.
You want to ask about Derrick Rose?
Well, it's definitely coming.
I know.
We got to do it. Go ahead. I'm going to tell you what I hear from a lot of people I know in Chicago, where I once worked. That Derrick Rose is a little threatened by you because you have emerged as, at this point in your career, maybe a little better all-around player than he is, given his knee issues, which are ongoing. And that he's just a little threatened. You've been quoted as saying you have absolutely no problem with Derrick, and I believe that 100%. But have you felt, or how much have you felt, a little friction on his part back to you?
I don't think it matters. If we win, this isn't an issue. But since we lost, it's an issue. I think it gives y'all something to talk about, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
But if we win the championship, nobody's worried about any of that. The only reason that it came up is because we lost. I don't think we have any beef or whatever you want to call it. I think we just want to win. We didn't win, so now we're beefing. Now we have problems with each other, and I don't think that's the case.
Have there been any minor incidents on his part back to you? No. Little things that he would say?
No, I think he's always been supportive of me being aggressive, especially on offense. We all know that I'll be the aggressor on defense. So, I mean, from what I can tell, the guy's always been in my corner.
For the record, I've never believed that for 1 second for 2 reasons. Number one, Derrick Rose's personality, that's not him.
Yeah.
Number two, and more importantly, the greater Jimmy Butler is, the better it is for D. Rose because it takes more pressure off of D. Rose. And we've always said for years that D. Rose needed some help at the guard spot so he could get somebody that can feed off of him and he can feed off of them and they can go from there. Based on what you saw this year, however, with Derrick Rose, how confident are you in him moving forward from a health standpoint? Because even though he had some great moments, here's my issue with Derrick Rose, the consistency. Because that last game, that when y'all didn't show up, he got outplayed by Matthew Dellavedova. That was a problem for me. And ain't no way. Matthew Dellavedova, no disrespect, I like him. He shouldn't even be mentioned in the same breath as Derrick Rose.
Agreed. I don't know. I think we came out flat, and then at a certain point in time, that was the game. I don't think that's the way it's supposed to be, but I think that's what happened. I don't think there's a problem with that. I'm confident in the group of guys that we have. You know, we basically got the same team back with the addition of Bobby Portis, our new rookie. But I'm comfortable where we're at. New coach, but we'll be all right.
Why would you be comfortable considering how the season ended and the fact that you guys just got to the semifinals of the Eastern Conference? If a championship is the objective, the roster stays the same. What would make you feel comfortable?
We're getting to know each other a lot more. Everybody didn't play together. Me and Derek for the first time, really, with the addition of Powell. Everybody's in a different role. Now I think everybody understands their role. So moving forward, I think everybody's okay. Everybody's okay with me being much more aggressive on offense like I wasn't the past few seasons. So it's all a building process. It's all a learning curve. So I think we're ready.
You made your name in this league on the other end of the floor, the defensive end. How hard is LeBron James to guard?
I mean, you see what the guy does on a nightly basis. He's one of the best players to play the game. You have to give him credit for that. But I look forward to it. I think guys respect guys that don't back down from challenges, and that can guard and then go score on the other end. I just think he's a hell of a player, along with a lot of other players in this league. But he put that team on his back. He made that team go.
I wanted to transition back to Chicago for a second in terms of Tom Thibodeau. He coached there the last 5 years. He's universally recognized as one of the better coaches in the NBA. Y'all won 50 games last year. You get to the semifinals of the Eastern Conference, and Tom Thibodeau is without a job. What was it like last year? Because he clearly had lame duck status attached to him as a coach, regardless of what anybody tries to deny. That was a fact, and it's proven now that he's gone. What was it like for you guys playing under him, not just last year, but in your career? What has it been like for him, playing under him?
It was great for me. This is my first coaching change, so it's something I haven't experienced before. I think Tibbs is really great at what he does. You could talk about how everything came up that he was going to get fired after last season, but his job was still to win games. That's what he tried to do to the best of his abilities. I still have a relationship with him. I don't think that that's a problem. He was my coach for the first 4 years while I was in this league. He's a good guy, and I know he's going to be back in this league very soon.
So, should the Cavs still be favored to win the East?
You think I'm going to say yeah to that question? I'm just curious.
I'm curious to hear what you say, because I think you're starting to come out of your shell a little bit.
I think I like our chances. I don't think anybody plays this game to lose, so I can't say that the Cavs are going to win the East. I think.
So should you be the favorite?
Of course. Why not? Okay. Why can't we be the favorite?
You know why.
LeBron. Yes, they have LeBron.
You know why.
Yes, they have LeBron. That's okay. He's been beat before. Not by us, but it's possible. Anything's possible.
Well, I must admit to you, let me just say it to your face. Last year, we walked into the season, and the mentality was it was about Cleveland and Chicago. Even though Atlanta came out of nowhere, I knew they weren't beating Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they lucked up with the seeding that they had, because I felt if they faced y'all, they probably would have lost to y'all in the playoffs. Having said all of that, this is a different year. And when we talk about Cleveland, forget Cleveland. That's a given. Because of LeBron, they'll be there. I think Miami has eclipsed y'all.
Oh, really?
Has eclipsed. Yes, I said it. Okay. I know they got you, and they got Derrick Rose, and I'm a fan of Pau Gasol's. I don't know about the health of a Joakim Noah. That's a question mark. I don't know what Hoiberg is going to bring to the table, because he's replacing a great coach in Tom Thibodeau, all right? But I look at Miami. Dragic's a good pickup. D-Wade is coming back. Bosh will be healthy. Whiteside is no joke. Deng is no scrub. And I like the additions they added with rookie Justice Winslow, Gerald Green, Amari Stoudemire. I look at the Chicago Bulls, and I'm not going to lie to you. I see the same old Bulls. Y'all are tough. Y'all ain't going to back down anybody. You got a lot of heart. You ain't scared of anybody. You're going to make the playoffs. But I think Cleveland and Miami are better right now.
Okay. I can't change your mind. You are who you are. I will say that. But I'm sticking with us. They got two Houston guys in Winslow and Gerald Green, too. So that's right. Us Houston guys.
That's right.
Some stuff too.
Which means that's even more reason for you to be confident in them, because you believe in yourself and your homeboys. Yeah. So you got two homeboys that's on the other team. You're making my point.
I like my city, but Chicago's my city now. I've embraced it. They've embraced me. We got to take it. We have to.
Listen, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will.
Right.
Clearly, we're not done. Will you stick around?
I'll be here.
Geico presents Strange Savings Stories.
Astronomers detected an interstellar transmission. It stated, Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. The implications were staggering. Was the cosmos telling us we could all save hundreds on car insurance with Geico? Or did their radar merely pick up a signal from the nearby Rufus and Clyde's morning show? We may never know.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Basketball with Jimmy Butler. And Skip, we'll let you take over.
I want to know a little bit more about Jimmy Butler, the emerging star. Mm-hmm. I read the other day that you had the guts to admit publicly that you actually like Taylor Swift's music. Could you please explain yourself?
Well, we won't talk basketball. We'll talk a little Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Her music's very catchy. Don't judge me. I think that it's something that I can listen to before a game because it's up to beat. It used to be country. I'm a big country fan.
He's big, but he's Houston, Texas.
I am.
Okay.
She's talking about Texas, by the way. And she switched over to like more pop. And so, you know, I dance and I sing to it, and I end up on the internet because of Nas and some other teammates. You know, I get hounded for it, but I am who I am.
It's her or the music?
The music.
It's the music. It's the music. But I will tell you this. Look, man, I'm a Katy Perry fan. You see? So, I mean, that's a teenage. I mean, the California girls with her and Snoop Dogg. I mean, the whole bit. I love Katy Perry. Love Katy Perry. And then, you know, some people say Taylor Swift, but I say Katy Perry, and I'm from Hollis, Queens, so it's all right. It's all right.
Skip, you have anyone you want to share?
I don't know. It's not about me. It's about Jimmy.
That's right. It's about. But let me say this. As you look at so many players in the NBA, to piggyback off of what Skip was asking you, what do you think makes you different than what exists in the NBA today from other players?
I think I am who I am. On the floor, off the floor, I'm not going to change. You know, I'm from a small town, not supposed to be here talking to y'all right now. Mm-hmm. Not supposed to be in the NBA, but I'm here. Mm-hmm. That doesn't change who I am as a person. I still love, you know, all my fans, all the people that helped me to get here. And I'm going to continue to be that. After my career, while I'm playing, I will be who I am.
Let's go back to your basketball team. Coach Tibbs was who he was, maybe to a fault. Mm-hmm. Give us some insight into why that decayed and finally ended so badly for him in Chicago.
I don't know. I don't think that's my job. You know, that's the general management job. My job is to play basketball, help win games. Obviously, I did not have a problem with Tibbs. I think we have another great coach in Hoiberg. From where I'm sitting down, talking to him and listening to what he has to say and his plan moving forward, I mean, I think he knows what he's doing.
Give me some insight into how concerned the team is, how concerned you think the city is, that the window of opportunity that y'all had is diminishing before our very eyes. Some people look at you guys and think that. To that you say what?
I think we have to prove ourselves. We have to win. We can't keep saying this is our year, this is our year, this is our year, and not make it happen. It is a concern, but I really think that we're capable of it. You know, if everybody stays healthy, and we just play together and play hard, we really can win. But, you know, I'm just saying it, like I said last year and the year before that, we got to make it happen.
So your ex-coach played you more minutes than anybody. Do you want the new coach to cut that down just a little bit? Because I think management wanted it cut down just a little bit.
Yeah, I want to play because when I was a rookie and I wasn't playing, I always was nagging. I want to play, I want to play, I want to play. Well, he gave me more minutes than anybody in the league. I can't complain, and I never will complain. I love this game. If that's what my team needs me to do, that's what I'm going to do. Play however many minutes.
Let's go back to your belief that your team can contend. I've already told you I think Miami and Cleveland are better in the East. Yeah, you heard me the first time, but my thought wasn't complete, Barry White. It wasn't complete, okay? Here's the deal. Out West, you got San Antonio that acquired LaMarcus Aldridge, kept Kawhi Leonard, Tim Duncan obviously staying, et cetera, et cetera. Oklahoma City, we anticipate and hope that the great Kevin Durant will come back healthy. DeAndre Jordan came to his senses and decided to stay in Los Angeles instead of thinking. Say what?
Houston kid.
Yes, that's right. None of them in the Houston Rockets, by the way. Okay, you look at all the things that transpired in free agency. What do you think? Who do you think had the best free agent period?
You're asking me that question?
That's right.
You're asking me.
No. I'm not talking about you and your new deal.
You asked me the question.
Outside of you. Outside of you in Chicago Bulls.
Oh, okay.
Who do you think had the best free agency?
I'm going with San Antonio.
Thank you.
I'm going with San Antonio. LA is a constant mismatch problem for people, man. The dude can play. He's a Texas kid, Dallas. Close enough. I'm just saying, my state.
Okay. We got the message,
but, you know, Kawhi is a hell of a player. Mm-hmm. And the core team that they already have, they've already won it. They've already played together for so many years. They really got better with the additions that they added. Yeah, they lost a few pieces, but that one piece in LA, that's going to take them over the top.
So, to conclude all this, you will win the East next year, you're saying. You're on record, right?
I have to be on record saying that. I have to. I can't say we're going to lose. We don't play this game to lose. Yes, we're not listening to your opinion.
It's ESPY's Day, so we have a big guest here in studio, Detroit native and Grammy-nominated rapper Big Sean. Welcome to the show. He's got it. He's coming on out now.
There he is.
What's up, guys?
Hello.
How are you? Welcome. Up, God bless.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you? Yes. We just,
What's going on, boss? How you doing?
Good seeing you, my man.
I like those yays, man. That's Detroit right there.
Thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
What's good?
So we just saw your new video, new single, One Man Can Change the World.
Oh, yeah,
Can you tell us, about that concept a little bit behind
that's probably the most important song I wrote, you know, just for the sole fact that my grandma's on the end of it. And she just passed away a few months before this, literally a month before the song came out.
Sorry.
But she inspired the song. She was a female black captain in World War II.
Wow.
She was one of the first female black cops on the streets of Detroit. She was a teacher, a counselor, home-cooked meals, you know, the best grandma. I took it way for granted, but she definitely inspired me that if one man, you know, man meaning person, male or female, could change the world, that it was her. So I'm glad I at least got to have her on this song, and I'm glad I made this song one of my singles. You know, I've had songs that are like anthems, party songs, all that be singles, but never something so heartfelt. So I'm just proud of myself for an artist for putting myself out there like that, being just straight up, you know.
How difficult is it to put yourself? I mean, we see so many people, they talk about keeping it real. They try to talk about being authentic or what have you. But a lot of times you learn later on that people don't necessarily appear that willing to tell their story as much as they claim they were. Whereas somebody like you're very, very open about it. And obviously you don't mind putting yourself out there. How difficult was it to do that?
I mean, that comes with time. You know, I think for me personally, everybody has their own opinions, their own story.
Right.
But for me, when I first started, you know, I came from the perspective of wanting to, you know, I think just wanting to be famous or wanting to hear myself on the radio and things like that. But when things started picking up for me, my whole perspective changed. You know, I was looking at my grandma, looking at the impact she had, looking at just like music, and 10 years from now, I want to be remembered. What do you want to be remembered for? You know what I'm saying? What impact do you really want to make? You know, the song, you can have a song of the summer, or you can have a song that changed somebody's life forever, and they're going to still support you 10 years later and just make that impact. So I'm from Detroit, man. I'm from the Motor City. You know, you're talking about Motown. You're talking about, you know, Aretha Franklin. You're talking about those. This is the new generation of that. So I got to boss up and, you know, just put my heart out there, keep some soul into it, and do my best, man.
So you grew up a Lions fan.
Yeah.
I grew up a Cowboys fan.
Wow.
And I think those two teams, if memory serves, played a playoff game at Jerry World this past playoff season.
Yeah.
And I think your team lost, and as I recall, you were heartbroken over it, right?
They got robbed.
Yeah.
They did not get robbed.
I think everybody in Detroit felt like they got shot that day. It was like really painful for us to watch that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so there was a picked up flag on a pass interference play.
Yes.
Yes. Remember this on Anthony Hitchens of my Cowboys, on Brandon Pettigrew of your Lions tight end, right?
We remember.
We're going way back now.
Before the catch.
Before the catch.
Before it was a catch.
Okay. No, that's the next game.
I said a week before it was a catch.
Okay. The play in question that we see right there now, I will give you, it was a bad call.
Very bad.
For your Lions and a great break for my Cowboys. But I'm going to remind you, it happened with 8 minutes and 25 seconds left in the football game. A whole lot more happened after that, and your team had every opportunity after that to overcome a bad break. But my Cowboys were just better that day.
You sound like a real cowboy right now.
I am a real cowboy.
He is.
Hey, through and through, man.
You know, I can sit and talk to you all day about how that was a crazy game, terrible calls were made, you know what I mean? But I'm just going to put that out there. That's just my opinion, you know?
I got to tell you, I'm worried about your Lions in this respect.
Why?
You talk about big, Motor City.
Yeah.
It's Detroit.
Yeah.
The late, great Stuart Scott used to call it Detroit. Talk about Detroit. That's right. That's what he used to say. Here's the deal. You lost in Ndamukong Suh.
I know.
That's attitude.
I know.
And part of your success is about attitude.
Yeah.
That's gone now.
I mean, he's down in Miami. I think it was tragic, but I don't blame him for getting that check, in this game. You got to do what you got to do, But I feel like we got a couple new guys. We got Megatron, first of all. And
assuming he's going to stay healthy. Yes, go ahead.
He is going to stay healthy.
I hope so.
And, in a perfect world, that the Lions could go all the way. Football is the only sport I feel like one year you could be, like, decent, the next year you could go all the way.
Was Matthew Stafford ever your quarterback? You feel that way?
Yeah.
Tell us how you feel about Matthew Stafford. Tell us how the city of Detroit, feels about Matthew Stafford.
I want to Matthew Stafford. What you mean?
Excuse me? What do you mean, what do I mean? What do I mean? You trying to tell me everybody support Matthew Stafford? Matthew Stafford?
Because you have to. He has to just come through. He comes through when he has his moments.
He's skilled. He's skilled.
He has his moments. I'm not saying he's the best. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying.
I'm just saying.
I'm not saying all that.
Don't look at me like nobody questioned Detroit. I go to Detroit a lot. They question Matthew Stafford.
I'm saying, I'm not saying they question him, but I can say that Matthew, he has what it takes as far as a unit, as a team. They have what it takes to do better than they did last year for sure, and to go way further. You know what I mean? So in the perfect world, I love to see, the Lions in the Super Bowl. I'm just putting that out there.
What did you think about Riley Curry? Did you see her in the press conference singing "Way Up"? I feel blessed.
Yeah, I thought that was adorable.
So cute.
Yeah, God bless little Riley Curry, man.
And they had another baby too. He actually captioned that Instagram photo with the lyrics again as well.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
It was just out there. But yeah, seeing her sing, that was a cool moment.
Yeah, definitely. That was crazy. I saw that and was like, wow.
It's special.
I'm glad she's singing that song.
Right? That's the right song you want, not the other anthem we all know. I like that one in the gym.
Yeah. So shout out to them, and congratulations to the Warriors and Steph. That's great. They've had a great year. This past couple of years for him has just been amazing.
Question. Both of us are Steph Curry fans. My brother's big time. No question about it.
He worked hard.
And he's good people too.
Yeah.
But I must admit, boy, to some degree that they luck up too. You got a young team in New Orleans.
I don't know if they lucked up.
Give it and explain. And then I want to hear your take. Because on one hand, you got New Orleans, young team.
Yeah.
And then, who they go against in the second round? Memphis. Mike Conley, not healthy. Right. Then they go against Houston, and Patrick Beverly's out, and the whole Dwight Howard mix, and there's friction, not getting the ball, and all of these questions, and then you go to the finals, and then Kyrie Irving goes down in game one.
But that's what happens, though. That's people got to stay healthy, not get hurt. But I feel like in the last series, it was probably one of the most exciting series that we ever have seen in a long while.
Well, for a while it was.
Yeah, and I just feel like LeBron, it's a testament to, as much of a Steph Curry fan I am, it's a testament to LeBron of how great of a player he is, losing a couple of the best players on his team, you know what I mean, and just still going all the way with it. That's a great player, probably the greatest all-around player in the league right now.
I will confess, I really, really felt, I've never felt that bad. For a guy. And I'm like, because it's like Kyrie, it's like, what can you do? I mean, you're LeBron and you get this far, and not only do you lose Kevin Love, but then Kyrie goes down, and you're like, you got to be kidding me. And he did the best that he could. I hate the fact that he has that loss.
Because he had one of his best playoff, finals. stats.
He did shoot the lowest percentage from the three-point line of anybody in the history of the finals, taking X number of shots.
Yeah, you would remember.
Well,
that.
Everybody should remember that because it was an eyesore. It was. He could have made some threes.
He was going hard, man.
Yeah.
Going hard and exhausted. Everybody can't be in the shape Skip Bayless is in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that, he's a truck coming down, man. He's unstoppable.
Yeah, man. By the way, I didn't ask you about the Pistons on purpose. I'm not going to do that to you. I don't want to touch. I don't want to touch. I ain't going to let you touch it.
Go Tigers,
We'll focus on the positives. John Wall had some interesting comments he made at Summer League. Let's show you that quote right now regarding Reggie Jackson and his contract situation. People talk about me getting $80 million. Now you got people getting $85 million that haven't made the All-Star game or anything like that. I guess they came in at the right time. That new CBA kicked in and they're good now. Reggie Jackson gets 5 years, $80 million. I'm getting the same as Reggie Jackson. Are his comments in bounds or out of bounds?
Well, they're in bounds from the standpoint that he's talking about a guy like Reggie Jackson, who was a reserve, went to Detroit for 27 games, and all of a sudden gets $80 million, the same that he's getting. But this is a different financial climate. Also, Reggie Jackson did average 17 and 9 in those 27 games for Detroit. John Wall averaged 17 and 10 for the season. So John Wall needs to step up his game. I'm a fan of John Wall's. He's big time. The potential is there. And he's going to get even more money than Reggie Jackson. But it's not like Reggie Jackson doesn't deserve his $80 million in this climate.
Which is why this was out of bounds to me. John Wall still has a lot more to prove in this league, and he had a very good year. He impressed me last year. I didn't think he was quite that good, but you're exactly right. In those 27 games, Reggie Jackson put up exactly the same numbers as John Wall did for the season. He's an explosive player, and I think Detroit made a very wise move to invest in.
Last quick comment. John Wall, had he not gotten hurt, the Washington Wizards would have been in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Thank you both for a great week out here in L.A. Appreciate it. We will be back on Monday in Bristol, 10 Eastern on the Deuce. And don't forget the ESPYs tonight, 8 Eastern on ABC. Thanks for hanging with us. Have an excellent day.
We have to go back to Bristol?
We do.
Well, you don't.
You do sometimes, technically.
And now, for Geico's edition of Stuff Found in Your Car, we go inside your side door pocket.
Hello, yes, the crumpled receipt with gum in it. From your anniversary dinner, you sprang for expensive wine, your server was Beth. That dinner was a couple $100. Money you could get back if you switched to Geico and saved hundreds of dollars on your car insurance. I bet you'd save that receipt, frame it even. But really, where did I go wrong? Was it the corkage fee?
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com today.